Welcome to Rebel Speak and Be Encouraged. And today I want to, I'm just thinking about times in our life when we hear, hear bad news. Times when things don't go quite how we expected them, and we kind of have a tomorrow to face. We're on a page that kind of we wish we weren't on. And I've just been thinking about this, where we turn and we trust in God and we say, no, God, you're the one I trust in. And as I look at the outcomes, I have a God who's for me, and I can trust God. I can trust God in deeply disappointing moments. I can hold God's hand and know God holds my hand. And this is from an Isaiah Speaks earlier, and it just been sitting in my, it's just an interesting, it's just from chapter 50, and it says verse 10. And it's not even deeply established into the line of the conversation that God's having here. But it says, who among you fears the Lord and obeys the word of his servant? Who among you? Let the one who walks in the dark, who has no light, trust in the name of Yahweh and rely on their God. And then it's going to contrast those that feel like they're in their light, and they're kind of, Isaiah is very comfortable saying, you think you're this when you're not that, and you think you're in the light, you're going to, he's angry at people that think they're seeing when they're not seeing. But this has just been speaking to me. Who among you fears the Yahweh and obeys the word of his servant? So it's a question. Who of you has a life lived in orientation to God? Let the one who walks in the dark, who has no light, trust in the name of the Lord and rely on their God. The one who knows their need. That's what's being spoken in this verse. May the one who knows their need be able to trust in God in the midst of the dark, in the midst of the not seeing, in the midst of the not knowing, in the midst of outcomes that, were it not for the grace of God, might break our heart. In the midst of these times and places, let the one who walks in the dark. When you're walking in the dark, you're not seeing a lot. Who has no light. Those moments where it's hard to see. It's hard to see what lies ahead. There's a lot of trust as you walk in the dark and you have no light. Let that one, Isaiah says here, let that one trust in the name of Yahweh. When you're walking in the dark and you don't have light, trust in the name of Yahweh and rely on their God. Sometimes I think that's all I really want to say. That God is with you when you can't see, when the outcome seems very strange and odd indeed, when the disappointments, they're openly there. They're openly there. I'm just going to say it one more time. Okay. Who amongst you fears Yahweh and obeys the word of his servant? See, there you are. You're one who obeys and you fear. And now you're in the dark. And you're in the right place because God is so very, very faithful. God is so very, very, very reliable. The love of God never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is his faithfulness. Wherever you are, just having to kind of get up and face a day that just, would that it were not so. Would that it were not so, but it is. Just hold that hand of the one who's very, we can say self-reliant. Your life is a God-reliant life. And the God that you lean on is reliable. You are reliant upon the reliable one. That in the midst of the dark, let the one who walks in the dark, who has no light, trust in that place, in that moment when there's not much to see. I don't know. I don't even know how to get through this circumstance right now. I don't even know how to get through this situation. I feel like it's not even like, sometimes we can be really afraid things are just going to fall apart, but there's other times where we're just, wow, God, I so didn't see that coming. It's so not the way I wish it were. And it's just a little bit different. It's a little bit different. We're not, for me, not even having to fight oneself, but there we can say, whew, that the one who walks in the dark, just not quite seeing where this is going, who has no light, that one you. Trust in the name of the Lord Yahweh, that active verby God, and rely on your God, the God that's seen you through so much, so often, that God that's so very for you, that God says, I'm going to get you there. I'm gonna see you through this. This disappointment's not going to name your life. God, I thank you that you're so for us. Nothing can stand against us. God, I thank you that you prosper us in the midst of difficult circumstances. You prosper our soul. You prosper our mind. You prosper our heart. God, I thank you that when we awaken, you are there. I thank you that we're never alone. I thank you that Paul writes that there's nowhere we can go that you aren't. Your love finds us. The Psalms write that as well. God, I thank you that when we can feel so very alone, we know a different story. That the God who's counted the hairs upon our head intentionally, as a statement of intent, is with us. And we are not alone. We are not alone. We are not alone. I speak the love of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Be near that is near to you. Awaken as you draw near to him. He draws near to you. Be blessed. Be encouraged.